Hi, I'm Kat and I am finally doing the mid-year freakout tag for this year. This tag was created years ago by my friends Chammy and Ellie. I will link both of them down below. And now it's kind of just taken on a life of its own. The purpose of this tag is to see how you've done with your reading for the past 6 months and then kind of freak out about the next 6 months. And I am once again wearing my I don't know jumper. I feel like it's just tradition to wear this every time I do a mid-year check-in now. Because mood. I've only read 15 books so far this year. I literally finished one just last night. So I will likely be doubling up on questions because I just don't have a lot of people and books to choose from. Let's go. 1. Best book you've read so far in 2021. I'm not going to include my reread of Spiritbound, which I did at the beginning of the year. So I'm gonna have to go with A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Nesta is just hella relatable, and I was in the original series, I was on her, but now she's my favorite Archeron sister. I love Cassian. I love the new characters we get, like Emery and Gwyn. I love them. I love the Valkyries. I would like to be a Valkyrie. I love Faye and I love Sarah J. Maas and her books. So, of course, this is my choice. 2. Best sequel you've read so far in 2021. I mean, Silver Flames could work for that, but I'm going to go with A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. And I did also finish A Crown of Gilded Bones last night, but I'm just picking up this one. Yeah, I love this story, and the second and third books were solid books. It's exactly the type of stuff that I love, and now I need to just go read more. Jennifer L. Armentrout. 3. A new release you haven't read yet but want to. I mean, what are we counting as new release? This year, because I got Rule of Wolves by Leigh Bardugo, bought that the day it came out. One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I am dying to read this one. And Better Together by Christine Riccio. I loved her first book, so I gotta read this one. 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I am terrible at remembering what is coming out, but Gods and Monsters by Shelby Mahurin I believe is coming out very soon, so that one. 5. Biggest disappointment. I'm pretty good at picking up books that I know I'm gonna like, so I'm gonna have to go with Reflection by Rebecca Lim. This is part of the Disney Twisted Tales, and it is what if Shang died during the battle with the Huns and Mulan went to the underworld to save him. We read this as part of our Disney themed Because We Can readathon. I was super pumped for it because Mulan is my favorite Disney movie, and this was it was okay, and it would make a cute and fun animated movie. It just kind of fell a little flat. 6. Biggest surprise. You know what? Ice Planet Barbarians. TikTok made me do it. I've only read the first one, but it was a surprise in every way. A surprise that it exists, a surprise that TikTok went crazy over it, a surprise that I read it, and a surprise that it wasn't bad. It was kind of good. It's written well and you kind of get attached to the characters, and I read it in one sitting. 7. Favorite new author, whether debut or new to you. Jennifer L. Armentrout. I don't know why I wasn't reading her books earlier, because for years I'm oh, her books that sound exactly like my type of thing. I should read them. And then I just never have until the From Blood and Ash series. And of course I loved it. It's got everything I love. It's a fantasy. It's got enemies to lovers. It's got characters I love. It has vampires. And the main character has the same color hair I do. So I have a feeling I'm gonna love a lot of her other stuff as well. 8. Newest fictional crush. And you know what? I see a lot of people being oh, I don't really have fictional crushes anymore. This is a weird question. The question is in this because Ellie and Chammy made the tag when they were very young. It's been a long time that this tag has been around. But you know what? I'm still gonna answer it, and I'm going with Castile. He just fits right in with the rest of them. 9. Newest favorite character. Nesta. Now, we have known her for years, but as I said earlier, I was on her in the original series because we were seeing her from Feyre's perspective. But, reading this and being in her perspective, I love her. She's one of my top 5 favorite characters now. She's relatable and flawed, and I just really loved seeing her journey. I am sad that we only got one book for this story though, because I would love to see more of it, but fingers crossed for more Valkyries in the other books. 10. A book that made you cry. I don't think I've cried over a book this year. I don't recall it. So I'm going to go with a TV show because I definitely did cry during this finale. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Ooh, that finale though. 11, a book that made you happy. Okay, Spiritbound. This was a reread. It was the 6th time that I have read this book. I keep track of it in the back of the books here. I have read it, well, I read it when it first came out, and then I have another dot because I wasn't counting the months then, and then I read it in November 2011, November 2012, March 2017, and then like December/January this past year. Though I didn't actually read this copy, this is my original copy. I read the copies that I have in my mum's place in South Australia because I have a whole set of the Vampire Academy books there too. Every year when I go home for Christmas, I reread one of the Vampire Academy books, and they just make me so happy. 12, most beautiful book that you have bought or received this year. And you know what, let's go for both. So for bought, we have the From Blood and Ash series. They are very pretty covers. I am a little disappointed like under the dust jackets because they're all that, but these themselves are very pretty. And the most beautiful one that I have received is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. Grace from G Swizzle gave me this for my birthday while I was over in Sydney, and like this is pretty, but then it also has this underneath. So it is very pretty, and thank you, Grace. Oh, it also has the end pages like that. 13, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? All the books. And finally, 14, favorite book community member. I love a lot of people in this community, but I'm just gonna round it down to 4. So we've got Ellie from Elle Grey Books. She is one of the creators of this tag. So everyone say thank you, Ellie. She's lovely and she reads quite different books to me, so it's always interesting to see what she is reading. And even though we live in the same city, we've actually only ever met once. We ran into each other while we were at a train station, and we just like only had time to say hi and then like pass each other. That was kind of funny. I was exiting the train station, I was like, that's Ellie. Like pretty sure that's the only time that we've ever met in person before. Ellie, correct me if I'm wrong. But she is lovely, so everyone go subscribe to her if you're not already. Next up we have Jenna from Just a Little Bit Random. She is one of my Because We Can co-hosts. Also have met her in real life as well because she's from South Australia. And only like at the beginning of this year, we learnt that we grew up 15 minutes away from each other. Like, so that's also funny. Like we grew up 15 minutes away from each other, but had never met until we started like interacting online. And I feel like the first time we met was actually in Melbourne too. Jenna is great. She loves Julie and the Phantoms and The Witcher and games. She is very big on Twitch right now, so go subscribe to her Twitch. And then next up is of course Kat from Brews and Reviews. She is our other co-host, and she is the one person on this list that I haven't met in person because she lives in England. But one day Jenna and I will make it to England and meet Kat. Kat is great. She really loves characters like the Darkling, so if you like the Darkling, you'll get along with her. She really likes this author named David Gemmell. I want to read one of his books just so I know what she's on about. And her vlogs are great because she's always going down by like this canal place and it's so pretty and I'm jealous. And lastly, we of course have my booktube bestie, Grace from G Swizzle, which you guys know I already met because she gave me the copy of Addie LaRue last month. Grace is great. She's really into fantasy and she's really good at like explaining things. And if you ever want to have a discussion about like bookish topics, like she is the best person to do that with. Like we always end up having like these more like the most in-depth conversations about bookish things that I've ever like had with people in person. But yeah, go subscribe to all of those ladies. I love them all. And there we go. There is all of the questions, and I feel like not a single one of them was a surprise. Like of course I talked about Sarah J Maas and Jennifer L. Armentrout and Rochelle Mead, because what else would I talk about? Please comment down below what was one of your favorite books that you've read so far this year, or what you're excited to read, or if you just don't want to write anything else, just put a like book stack emoji. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and here are some of my other videos. This one here, I am talking about the new Vampire Academy TV show. If you love Vampire Academy, come fangirl with me. And this one here, I talk about some stories that I've had during conventions, because I have attended a lot of conventions. I have met a lot of famous people by this point, and I have a lot of fun stories. So I would love if you could go check those out.